D-I-E. Wow, that was a beautiful song from my own, who is now a pastor, Pastor Norris. God bless you so much for this song, very powerful. Welcome, Faith Family. Today is a beautiful day, and we have thanks to God for that. It is bright outside. It's kind of like a breeze. Why won't you give thanks to God for life? What is holding you back? Let's all give to God because He has given us another opportunity to see today, and we must be grateful. Welcome to Walk with God show. My name is Miranda. I'm going to be your host for today. So this whole month of September, I've been talking about money, managing our personal finances, and for the past 2 weeks, it has been great with Mr. Nana Harrison. He has given us a lot of details, a lot of that we can follow to help us, save some money, how we can spend our money, some of the things that we are supposed to channel our money into to help us in our near future. And we are not, it's for the whole of September. In case you missed it, please go onto FBN page to watch the videos. And today we are on here with another episode with a beautiful woman of God, a beautiful entrepreneur, a beautiful doctor whom you would love to talk about money. And so you really don't want to miss it. If you're on here, you're welcome. Please share this video to your friends and family so they can also join and watch to get, some knowledge about money. And so I wouldn't waste much time. I would say thank you to Epigan for making this possible. This is a Christian youth show, like you have imagined, but it's not just for the youth. Other people can join as well, but our focus is more on the youth, channeling the youth into God, some of the social aspect of life that the youth can benefit from. So at this point, I'll just invite my guest for today. I have here with me Dr. Abigail Wilson. You're welcome, Abigail.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes,
I
good
miss
to see
you guys
you
so much.
too. What was that?
I miss you guys so much. It's been a
Oh yes, we
while.
miss you. It's been a while since you came on here. Well, we are glad you came back. So, for those that you don't know, Dr. Abigail Wilson, it's a she's the founder and CEO of NA Vitamin Supplement. She's also the founder and president of DVF Scholarship for Orphans and member of NAWOUSA. So Onyini Paketwa, she's not a small person. She is a very great person, and we are so fortunate to have her on here. She also works with the Human as a pharmacy. Yep. So, Dr. Abigail Wilson, you're once again welcome. Thank you for honoring our invitation and being on here today. So, our topic on our personal finance. I know that, so for you that you have multiple companies, a lot to do with money and, finances. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, Doctor, how do you think, on a scale of 1 to 10, let me rephrase the question. What number money is of such importance? So, with 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest.
10. Very
Okay.
very, very essential. Yeah.
Why do you say
Yeah.
that?
I mean, basically money is something we use to exchange for goods and services.
Mhm.
And it's so important because without money you will not be able to afford your lifestyle, your family's lifestyle, healthcare. I mean, I could go on and on and on. Money is basically a means of exchange, and you need it to be able to add value to yourself, to those around you, and also to your community. So it's an essential tool that we all need to make sure that we are investing time and resources to accumulate money.
Okay, thank you for that. Mr. Harrison chose 11. Actually, surprised he said 10. He said 11. So he is, too small for me to
I
tell how important money is.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. One more opening question before we dive right in. Do you think that everyone on this earth, or let's channel it to Christians, every Christian on this earth was born to be rich or is bound to be rich?
Yeah, I think we can all be rich, irrespective of your religion. But
Hmm.
since we're talking Christianity, I believe as human beings, if you're Christian, you have the potential to
Okay.
accumulate wealth, rich. I feel like rich is like, okay, everybody can become rich, but to be wealthy, to accumulate wealth, that is a whole different ball game. So, but I
Right.
think so long as you are created in God's image, you can work towards becoming rich, and you can become rich, and you can accumulate wealth. Like the Bible already says that ye are gods, each one
Hmm.
of us are creators, right? We are gods. So yeah, there is no limit. So we can, but it has to be a choice. It's not
Okay.
something automatic. It's not automatic that when you're a Christian or a believer, you're going to become wealthy or you're going to become rich. It has to be a choice, and you have to be willing and ready to put in the work that comes with that choice that you have made. Yeah.
Okay. So you're saying that you believe that you don't go with what people say, oh, some people are meant to be poor. Like we are rich who would be a cleaner, who would be, a trader. You don't buy that.
I don't buy that. I believe it's all
Mm.
choices.
Okay.
However, there are certain environment that could
Mhm.
position you to get rich faster,
Okay.
right? So let's say if you live in the US, have more opportunities. The ecosystem has been built in such a way that you can easily thrive and accumulate wealth. And we could get into that later. Compared to, let's say, when you're in Ghana, because
Hmm.
the environment, the ecosystem is not a thriving one, it may take longer for most people to build wealth or become rich. But yeah, your environment also matters. But at the end of the day, greatness is embedded in all of us. We can all become, but it's a choice, and it also comes with a price, the work that you have
Hmm.
to put in. Are you willing and ready to put in the work?
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for that, Dr. Abigail. Mr. Harrison said, I'm sure if Wilson knew she could go above 10, she
Yeah.
would have probably gone to 15 or T. I agree. I definitely agree to that.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we talk about emergency fund, what does it mean?
So emergency funds, basically, I wrote some notes down. Basically,
Mm.
it's money that you set aside for unexpected expenses, right? So let's say God forbid, you lose a family member, or just like COVID happened, some people had to make sure their kids are staying at home with them. And for you to be able to work with your kids staying at home, if you have emergency funds, you will be able to utilize some of those funding to pay for babysitter services. So basically, emergency funds, money you set aside for unexpected events that may happen. And also, we do recommend, most financial advisors recommend that you save 3 to 6 months worth of your expenses, okay, as emergency funds. So let's say if your rent is $500 every month, if you want to practice emergency funding, you would save 6 months worth of rent. So $500 times six. So you do that for 6 months and save that money in your account in case you were to get sick and you can't work anymore for maybe 6 months or 3 months, or maybe you got into a car wreck, so you need to take some time off work. um those 6 months worth of emergency funding savings that you have, you will be able to utilize them to pay for rent, so you will not worry about rent so much. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So emergency funds also protects you, and it prevents you from constantly having to reach out to people. Hey, borrow me
Mm-hmm.
money. Borrow
Mm.
this. If you save, and we usually tend to ask people for money or borrow money when we haven't saved for emergency funds. So let's say you have a flat tire. You never plan to have a flat tire, and maybe your tire is gonna cost you $300, and you have rent to pay, you have cell phone to pay.
Right.
But if you have your emergency funds, you can easily, tap into your emergency funds and use that money to help you pay for those flat tires that you that unexpected event that has happened with the flat tire. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that explanation. So we setting aside, some money for unexpected life issues. Okay, so when we have our emergency fund set up, right? Apart from also towards our retirement, are we done with savings?
Know about having the discipline to have two separate accounts, right? Your emergency funds should be different from your retirement funds. Just as the names actually say, one is for retirement, when you're 60 or 65 or older, and then the other one is for emergency. And I think I have given numerous examples of what emergency funds are. So we should be able to make separate accounts. So for me, everything goes back into what we call budgeting, right? If you have a budget for every month, budgeting is basically having a plan that helps you to track all your spending, all your investments, all your needs, all your wants, where your money is going. You're able to track it. So you take a pen and paper and make sure that you have a table, and that table has all your expenses laid out. Or you can journal that, or you can use your phone, documenting all of that information. It helps you to track where your money is going, so you know how much money you're putting into your retirement, you know how much money you're putting into your emergency funds, and that helps you with discipline. Yeah.
Thank you for so you mentioned about when accumulating riches. You also made mention of the environment that we live in, and you gave an example of the United States and our home country, Ghana.
Yeah.
So we know here it's kind of like a norm for students to go to school, especially high school student, college student go to school and then work. Is it okay to do so at the same time? And did you also do it and were able to balance it? If
Yeah,
so,
I don't even miss that. um you know in America compared to Ghana, I think Ghana, you rarely see people go to school and work at the same
mhm,
time. Whereas in the US, it's actually like a norm when people turn, 18, sometimes 16, they start working and they're going to, maybe they're in the final year of high school or they are in university. Um, so when it comes to work and school education, it's a very, very tricky conversation, because it depends on what you're studying at the time.
hmm,
There are some professional courses that are so demanding, and when I say demanding, extremely demanding, where you have, exams every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks you have 4-hour exams.
hmm.
So this was me when I was pursuing my pharmacy school, my doctorate. Every 2 weeks we had an exam, and the exams were basically, 3 to 4 hours exams. So with such a course and program, it was really hard to work and say I was going to school at the same time. So I remember once I got to the professional phase of my program, I had to stop working. I wasn't
Mm,
working. However, when I was in undergrad, because the program for the undergrad was something that I could personally handle, I was
okay.
able to work and also go to school at the same time. So when it comes to work and education, I think you have to pay attention to yourself, know who you are, know where your strengths are, and know where your
Mm-hmm.
weaknesses are. Um, and also know the type of program that you have been enrolled in and the type of demands and attention and expectations that comes with that particular course. The
Right.
fact that you see um, Mr. Harrison may be pursuing an undergrad program and he's able to work 40 hours while pursuing that program, it doesn't mean you will be able to do the same thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we have different intellectual capabilities. Our intelligence level varies. It may take somebody 4 hours to read a textbook and get the information in there. Another person, it may take them 8 hours. So
Right.
knowing yourself, like I said, is very, very important. No, and when I say knowing yourself, I mean know your learning skills, how much time you personally require to process information, so that you can balance that out with the type of work you actually choose to do when you're in school. And also, it will
Mm-hmm.
also have an impact on how many hours you're going to invest in. The fact that somebody is working 80 hours and going to school at the same time doesn't mean you can equally doing
Do
80
the.
hours. You know what I'm saying? And it's not a race. Life is a journey. We are all different. So if you have that personal understanding, you will not put so much pressure on yourself. So I am throwing the question back to you guys. Know who you are, know where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are, and then tailor a work education balance that fits your style. If you think your first 2 years in college, you are not going to make it if you're working, come to terms with that. It's okay. Do not work during the first 2 years. If you think the entire college years you cannot balance work and education, it's okay. It doesn't mean you're lazy, right? Because at the end of the day, it wouldn't make sense for you to pursue your education and fail.
Right.
Education is not Education is not cheap. You're paying student
Mm-mm.
loans, you're spending
Mm.
money. So make sure that that investment is also, you it's also worth it. So if you have to reduce the number of hours you investing into work, you can do that, and that's okay. Don't let anybody judge you and say, "Hey, now the local school no,
Mm.
fall for that pressure." Okay. um do what works best for you. So that is what I would throw it back to you guys. Make sure that you're making a decision that would work for you, and that's okay. That's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Abigail. At times we tend to, follow, what everyone else is doing. Like the fact that you mentioned that we need to assess ourselves. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What am I pursuing in school? Can I work whilst doing, taking 20 credits per? Can I do that? And
Yes.
get be assessing those credit. Yeah, you need them. You when weigh both options and see the
Mm-hmm.
amount of money you invest in education just to go to work to make some extra money and then waste all the money because balance to succeed in your classes. So I greatly agree to that. In my
Yeah.
my first 2 years of college, I was able to work first semester. I didn't work my first semester, but as I got to know how semester was, I was like, oh, this is to be. So I think I can manage or I can balance because I had a lot of free time. If
Yeah.
I did some work, I would get money from that time And there was also like any kind of a job that was train me. It was like a school a work like a work
Mhm.
employment job. So it was a job that when I'm there, I can study. If I have am there, understandable. These are all some of the factors that you need to put into where you find a job, because if you're a student, you go to get a job that it has limitability and stuff like that, you're gonna stress yourself a lot. So thank you so much for that. Okay, you mentioned loans, debt. So, and setting up these questions, when I was researching, I found this that said there are good debts and there are bad debt. Is that true? And what does it mean? What does it mean to have good debts, and what does it mean to have bad?
Yeah, so bad debt, whenever we say you have a bad debt, summary is a type of debt that doesn't pay you back what you put in. So example would be, let's say, your car loans, right?
Mm-hmm.
You keep paying car loans, you have a car, but you don't get any incentives back financially. Or let's say your credit cards. So your credit cards can also bad, yeah, can also be bad debts. And then
Mm-hmm.
another bad debts can also come from lack of health insurance, lack of car insurance, lack of life insurance, right? So when somebody dies, there's no life insurance, we want to pay
Mm-hmm.
for funeral expenses. Those are all money that you're going to spend and you're not going to have any returns back. When you don't have car insurance and you wreck somebody else's car, now you have debts you have to pay, right? So those are
Mm-hmm.
all bad debts. And then when it comes to good debts, so good debts are debts that tends to pay off. So you take a loan to go to school, it will pay off in the long run, because guess what? If you go to school, you become a nurse, irrespective of the amount of money you took, you will be able to get a job, work, and be able to pay off those debts. So those are good debts. Another example would be mortgage. You can take a mortgage loan, get a house, and maybe after a while you may decide to sell that house because you built equity, and you also get more money from selling the house. Business loans. When you take money to do business, and it's a business loan, irrespective of the interest and the charges that comes with the business loans, because you're going to make profits from the business loans, it becomes a good debt. So that's
Mm-hmm.
basically the two: a bad debt and a good debt. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
And
And last, I want to hammer
mhm,
this:
mhm,
debt in itself can be a tool that can ruin your life financially.
mhm.
However, debt can also be used as a tool, especially in America, to help you build wealth. So everything goes back into how you're able to utilize that debt to your benefit. Yeah.
Okay. Everything goes back to how to utilize that depth into your benefit. Cool.
Yes.
Me personally,
Yeah.
I don't like that. Because of
Don't like
the fact
debt.
that I would like to think about it like I'm owing someone. I mean, in some circumstances, you have no option. Like you said, school. Like for example, someone going into medical school. If you don't have are extremely rich and that were able to pay your fees and stuff like that, there's no the only thing you have to do is just go for that loans. But you need to be someone right after work, start to make a plan to pay it off, because interest, if you don't work on now, it will become something that will grow, and then it's like something you can't get rid of, you know?
Right. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, so debt is not a bad thing in general.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I took time to break down what is a bad debt and what is a good debt.
And
So take mortgage loans. I think there is nothing wrong with that. If you're able to plan well, like I said, you'll be able to get into real estate and be able to resell the house and make profits. You get what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
If you take
Mm-hmm.
loans go to school, after you're done with medical school, you will make so much money. If you
Mhm.
plan your so well, you can use some of that money to invest, and profits from those investments could actually be used to totally pay off your entire
Right.
student loan. So what happens most of the time is that we don't have what we call financial literacy. And
Mm.
when we don't have financial literacy, we begin to run away from loans. We begin to run
Mhm.
away from credit cards. We begin to run away from mortgage loans, right? Um, but we live in America. We live in a system that you actually need, sometimes you need loans to help you expand, help you grow. So I can talk
Yeah.
about financial literacy briefly, just briefly.
Okay.
So, what is financial
Okay.
literacy? When we say financial literacy, it basically means having the ability to make smart or
Mm.
intelligent decisions, to help you afford a certain lifestyle or education, okay, or a certain lifestyle overall for yourself and then for your family. So basically, that is
Mhm.
what financial is about. Um, did your family ever teach you about, finances growing up? Did your family teach you that?
Kind of. Not
Kind,
really.
yeah. I mean, most families they don't.
Mm.
So hey, here's money. Use it to buy ABCD.
Yeah.
Make sure you're not spending much, and
Too
that's it.
much.
I mean,
Oh.
that is
Uh huh.
the type
Uh
of
huh.
financial education we get from our homes, right? Make sure you're
Yeah.
save,
Save some
save,
more.
uh-huh. And then unfortunately, our educational systems also do not necessarily equip us with financial literacy education. However, going to school, they equip you with critical thinking skills, analytical thinking skills, so that you will be able to, learn information and guide yourself to help put your finances together. But financial literacy is so important, and there's so many ways to get education, basic education on finances. You can watch videos on YouTube. You can seek mentorship. People who are experts when it comes to finances, you can be friends with them. Take advice from people who have become successful based off their financial discipline, right? So this could be a family member or somebody who is well informed when it comes to finances. You can also read books. There are books written by a man called Dave Ramsey when it comes to finances. He's a very good one. You can also read books Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It will give you more
Mm.
information on how to manage your finances. There are books like The Millionaire Next Door. These are all books and resources that you can tap into to help guide you when it comes to educating yourself, when it comes to finances and how to manage your finances, so that you don't run away from credit cards, so you don't run away from loans. All these things are
Mhm.
supposed to help make life easy while you achieve the big picture, right?
Right.
So that's basic financial literacy information. And financial literacy may not be an exciting topic, but is it an important
Mhm.
topic? Yeah, very, very important.
Yeah.
And I add this: money is the world's most valuable tool because money gives you time back, and also it helps you to pay it forward in society.
Mm.
Yeah. So I wanted to share that. And then number two that I wanted to share in regards to financial literacy. You
Literacy.
could have best career or the best paying job when you're done with school in the world, but you can have all of those high paying jobs and be broke
Oh
because
yes.
lack financial literacy. So it's not about how much you make, it's about how you get to manage what you make, how you get to invest how much you're making. Okay. So I'll give a practical example. There are two people, Kofi and Amma.
Mm-hmm.
Amma got done with school, and after she got done with school, she decided every month she was going to put $100 into savings. Okay.
Okay.
And $100 into savings for like the next 30 years. Now, when you do that with most banks in America, the only interest you accumulate at the end of every month of saving is just roughly about 0.01%, just
Mm.
0.01%. So if you're putting in $100 for 30 to 35 years, at the end of that time, you would have only made less, at the end of maybe 30 to 35 years, you would have made only $42,000.
Mhm.
However, if Kofi, on the other hand, who was putting $100 into investments, when I say investments, it could be into the stock market,
Yeah.
it could be in
Mhm.
real estate, it could be into all of that, he would generate about $100,000 at the end of that 30 years.
Right.
Amma only made two, so, but both people, the two individuals, their decisions are coming from the type of financial education they have,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And with the financial education, you have to make an intentional effort to educate yourself, learn from the experts, read books to guide you so you will know where to put your money, so your money
Mhm.
doesn't just sit in the bank. So that is what financial literacy is all about.
Yeah.
And then last thing I would like to hammer on, if you want to increase your earnings or income, you may need multiple streams of income. So I'm just going to give brief descriptions of the different types of streams of
Okay.
income that we have. This is just brief, summarized education. Okay, I'm
Okay.
not an expert. Okay, but it gives you ideas. Okay, so we have your regular earned income, your salary,
Mm.
what you get from
Mhm.
your job every
Good job.
paycheck. So your 9 to 5 jobs, those are your earned incomes. And then we have what we call, so those earned incomes, those are based on your skill sets. Maybe you went to school, you became a nurse,
Mhm.
you get a check every month. You're an engineer, your salary. So those are just your regular earnings that you're getting every month. And then we have what we call profit income. So profit income are people who do businesses. You are an entrepreneur. You want to sell something and make profit from whatever you're selling to give you extra income, which is really good. Because
Yes.
with your regular job, you could get fired and you don't have income.
Yep.
With profit income, you could be doing business and earning additional, money based off the
Mhm.
business. However, doing business is a
Hmm.
risk, right?
Yep.
So you have to ask yourself, are you willing to
Are you
take
willing?
that? And if you're not a risk taker kind of person, there is also another alternative. We have something we call interest income. So interest income means you give money to people or institutions and they charge interest on it, which is risk free. So you can read and acquire more knowledge in regards to interest income and decide to put
Mm.
your money in interest income. And then the last one I'm gonna emphasize on is what we call dividends income. So dividends is basically income you receive from being a shareholder of a company. Okay, so you can read more information on how
Yeah.
to dividends every 3 months. So you can put your money into dividends, so that dividend companies, so that you can generate income that way. Or you can also put your money into rental income. Rental
Mhm.
income, you buy a house, you rent some part of your house to people to stay in there. You make money from that. So I could go on and on and on, but these are all resources or information that is out there. Nobody is going to hand over those information to you. You have to do your own research. You have to read books. When you go to your bank, you have to have conversations with your bank financial advisors. They are there to help you, and ask them to educate you. Ask questions. Where can I invest my money? How much will this money generate me in the next 3 months? So those are the financial literacy education that we need to take, so
Mm.
that we are not scared when we are taking money to invest
Money.
into business,
Advice.
right?
Mhm.
Because we Africans, we are afraid of loans and credits. But to make life, you need the loans. You need
Mhm.
those credits. It will help you to scale your business. It will help you to expand. it will help you to add value to society, right? Because if you make more money, you'll be able to have more resources to give back. But you have to make those intentional steps to acquire the financial literacy education that you need.
Hmm. Thank you so much, Dr. Abigail. This free education, Faith Family. This
Yes.
is free education. You didn't pay for it, you know. Wow. I only really knew of the dividend, the income, the one with the shareholders. I didn't know of the interest,
Yeah.
and the rental and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That is
And
so great.
there's
Thank
one
you.
last one. There is royalty income, and
Mm,
royalty income basically income received from allowing someone to use your property. So
mm-hmm,
allowing somebody to use your intellectual property. So somebody like Michael Jackson, when Michael Jackson died, because he had a happy birthday song, every time
mm-hmm,
that happy birthday song is used or played, I think his family makes $12 million a year. 12 million dollars a year. So, royalty income, it can come from your talents. Maybe you wrote a book, maybe you come up with a quote, and that quote is being used everywhere. I think there's a singer, Megan the Stallion. She came up with
mm-hmm,
a quote, and that quote was used by Fashion Nova and some other companies, and she gets money every year because of that. So you
mm,
can come up with a any of that saying is used by different people. You can be making money from that saying. You can come up with an innovation, and you could get royalties from that innovation. Music, there are
yeah.
people who are dead, but every time your music is played, your family members are receiving extra income. So these are all different ways that we can have multiple streams of income, so we are not just dependent on one income. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Doctor. I should start, writing music so that that another source of.
Yes. Exactly. I'm just kidding.
Hmm. Mr. Harrison said they won't come and learn, no Christians. Oh my goodness gracious, Christians and financial education. Dear, no wonder.
Yeah. It's so important. So important.
Hmm. Like you said, it's kind to like sit and read about it. But once if you do that, it helps. It helps
Yeah.
because Kofi bought Tesla stock, and Amma only saved in the bank. LOL. Miss Harrison also mentioned that how you're talking about Amma taking $100 and saving in the bank, and then he also mentioned that as like the years move on, the value of money it depreciates.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah. Inflation.
yeah. So what $100 can do now can do in the next maybe like 5-10 years. So if you're just putting the money in just the bank without any interest and stuff, you actually you're saving, but you might actually be losing money by that end of 10 years. So I
Yeah.
think
Yeah, that conversation is so important because,
mhm,
as Africans, we work so hard, but
yeah,
because we don't plan our finances, and we don't plan our finances because we lack the financial education, because we lack that, we always working 3 or 4 times as much as the other people who are
people,
successful. And sometimes the only difference is that financial education, knowing where to put your money, right? And one last thing I will emphasize on is also knowing about something we call protecting yourself financially. So we will work so hard to make so much money, but we will not set any money aside for life insurance. And so when somebody dies, we now have financial responsibilities for different family
mm,
members.
mm,
We have to take care of our cousins, our nephews, because your mom died. When you look at Caucasians, when grandma dies, because grandma had life insurance, the children literally become rich. I
Yeah.
have friends who are Caucasians that, their grandmothers died and they are millionaires
Yeah.
because they were like, and they've
Mm-hmm.
had generations doing that. So those are the differences. It's not about how hard you work, but how smart and how
Smart.
intelligent you make
Mm.
with the money you have
Mm-hmm.
acquired, right? The other day I was also telling one of my friends, protecting yourself financially. There is something we also call legal fees, legal insurance. So we will hear cases where a white person was involved in, let's say, a legal case, and they spent small money and they got out of that case. A black person was in that same situation, and their lawyers couldn't defend them. They had to go to jail. So we
Mm.
have what we call legal, where you can be paying legal insurance every month, just like you pay car insurance, so that when you get into a car accident,
So you
your
get
car insurance
covered. Mm-hmm.
covers the accident. You can also
Right.
be paying something like that, so that when you get a court case, you already have a lawyer because you've been
Oh.
paying your monthly premiums. That lawyer comes and defends you, and game over. But we
Mm.
find ourselves in situations where, because we don't pay for those kind of insurance, when we have a court
Mm-hmm.
case, you're not trying to, go find
Yeah.
money, and we in those situations. So there are so many intelligent things to do with your money to protect you financially. So these are the type of information I want to leave people with, right? I do that. I pay legal attorney fees every month, but I've never had a court case. But just
Right.
in case I ever have
You
a
get
court,
one.
I know I already have a lawyer. I'm not now going to look for a lawyer, and legal attorney fees I pay every month. They will be able to give me
Mm-hmm.
good lawyers, help defend me. So these are little things that we can do. Family insurance, your healthcare insurance. These things will help protect yourself, your family members when you're sick. So these are little things that we can do with our money, right? That we make from work, so that it will protect us and save us in the long term. But most importantly, investment, investment, investment. But nobody is gonna come to you and talk to you about investments. You have to show interest. You have to put in the work, and engage the people who have the expertise and the resources. It has to be intentional. The fact that you are coming from a family where nobody has financial literacy doesn't mean it should be the same with you. You should live here today making a difference. Be the one that will, start a whole generational wealth, generational gains, generational impact for your family. Take action. If you don't take action, I can give you all sorts of tips from today's conversation,
Mm-hmm.
but it's meaningless if you're
Yeah.
not. So take action, practice with investments, make mistakes. You lose money, you gain money. But when you lose money, you gain money. That's how you learn, right? I think 2 years ago, I started putting my money into the stock market. I lost money here and there. I made mistakes, but I learned the hard way. Because I learned and I have acquired all those skills and knowledge, my kids are going to benefit, because guess what? I am going to teach my kids about all the mistakes I made, so it puts them ahead and to build generational wealth. So the fact that your parents were not able to do it for you, be the one to do it for your children, so that when you have kids, they will be able to continue building generational wealth. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah, Renee said legal insurance. I had never heard of that.
Yeah. It's so
So
important.
thank you.
It's really cheap. Some of them are like
Mhm.
$10 a month, yeah, they're really affordable.
Wow. 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 Okay, let's just take some comments and we will move on with our conversation, Dr. Abigail. Um, Auntie Renee said, "You look so fancy, Dr. Abigail." Oh, yes, she does. I'm
Thank
on
you.
Facebook. I don't miss her. Is it Facebook? Do you guys call it status? I don't know. But yeah, but
Oh,
she always feels like, hey, enjoyment.
hey,
I don't miss it.
you can enjoy life, right? You
Hmm.
can relax.
Hmm. Yep. Yeah. So Rex did a pan smart money that is coming from Mr. Harrison. He's like No, the way he has set up his mind, I'll get like you. I'll get there. Okay, miracle money. Hmm. Yeah, Christians. A miracle money still needs to be managed well. Yep, exactly. Very important. Please, if you want to start, Auntie Ezra is here for you. Go there, start with your life insurance. Save for your children, your grandchildren. You have
Very,
to
very
not
important.
broke.
Yeah.
Kingdom wealth transfer. How will you manage that wealth when God gives it to you? Hmm. Will save us money in the room. You love to chill. I need to live life like you. I can't kill myself. Yes. So
You
she
can't
always,
come.
with her glass of, some wine and then with a beautiful ass sitting in her couch, like all fancy. Okay, Dr. Abigail. It's beautiful. We love to see it. We love to see it. So we were talking about loans, right? You have given us, but let's channel this specifically to our students, our freshly new graduated students. So we were going to school, we loans, we are out of school. We've started working, but the loans are there. Now, what advice would you give to us, you know, so that we can to pay those loans off and still live life? And that's like, oh, I'm just working to pay my loans off, and I can't even like use some money for myself because the loans are just too much. What advice
Yeah.
would you give to that student? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is basically me, right? I went to
Mm-hmm.
pharmacy school. My parents
Mm-hmm.
helped I think my first 2 years, but the rest of the year I had to take student loans to help me pay for my education, and I'm still paying for my student loans till this day. And I think President Obama only paid off his student loans when he wrote his books. I think he wrote a book, and that he used the money from the books to help pay off his student loans, right? So
Uh-huh.
don't feel bad when you take
But
student loans to pursue your education and a career. Um, when
mm-hmm.
it comes to balancing how you pay for your student loans and your life in general, so I'll go back to budgeting. Um,
Okay.
how do you save money? Spend less money than you make. Basically, when you spend less money than what you're making, you'll be able to save money.
Great.
Easier
Okay.
said than done,
Done,
right?
done.
Yeah,
Mm.
I spend. And if you don't even like to spend these days, you come on Facebook. The shops are all over Facebook. Macy's all over Facebook.
Mhm.
There'll be things in front of
Mhm.
buy, buy everywhere. But it is hard to spend less money than you make to help you save. Um, but how when it comes to student loans and all of that, you would have to start what we call budgeting. And budgeting is basically writing down a plan for your monthly expenses. Okay, so
Okay.
there are four main categories for budgeting. Four main categories: we have needs, wants, debts. So debt here means credit cards, student loans, okay, any money that you owe anyone, and then investments. Okay. So make sure that you're taking, remember, I told you guys, if you do not take action, then this conversation is meaningless, right? So take action, take time and document your four categories budgeting. Okay. The needs, what are your needs every month? What are things that you need every month? What are your wants? Things that you don't really need, but maybe you just want to buy them. What are your debts? Your student loans, your car loans, things that you have to pay, your insurance, and then investments. Where do you want to put your money for it to grow, to multiply, right? So when you categorize these four things, you will be able to dedicate an X amount of money that will go into your student loan every month, and nobody will come and worry you.
Mhm.
Okay, always pick up a phone and work with the loan company that gave you your student loans, and have conversations with them and find out what are the cost effective alternatives they have for you to pay off your loans. So you need to have a goal, okay, and you need to have a vision. So maybe your goal is to pay off your student loans in 15 years. Maybe you are more ambitious and aggressive. You want to pay it off in 4 years.
Mm.
I know people that have done that, you know.
Wow.
Um, but paying it off in 4 years, they had to live like a particular lifestyle.
Lifestyle. Mhm.
Yeah. So these are things you have to think through. Are you willing to live in a small apartment and buy a small car, live small, and pay off the student loans within 4 years? Or maybe you want to pay your student loans, you want to be comfortable, and that's okay. You want your two-bedroom apartment, you want to be so comfortable, you want to be able to travel, fly around, so you want to pay your student loans in 10 years. So
Mm.
these are personal things that you have to ask yourself. What do I want? What kind of lifestyle do I want to live right after graduation? Do I want to live small? Do I want to live large? Do I want to be comfortable? You
Mm.
know, so these are personal choices and questions that you have to ask yourself and write them down. And when you write them down, have that discipline that every month $500 from my paycheck is automatically going to go to the student loan. That is one of the easiest way to help you pay off your student loan. Set up an auto pay with your paycheck, so that when they pay you, an X amount of that money would directly go towards student loans. Okay. If you only want to pay $50 every month for your student loans, that's fine, right? So it's fine. It may not be smart, but it may be fine. Maybe depending on the type of lifestyle you want to live, or maybe
Mm.
when you're done with, you want to save chunk of your salary into a business. So because of that, you will only pay $50, and maybe that business will generate so much money, and eventually you use that money to pay off your student loans. So there are so
Wow.
many different ways. It's not a one-way street. Okay,
Mhm.
it's not size fit all. What may work for me may not work for you.
Right.
What worked for your parents may not work for you. What worked for maybe your co-worker may not work for you. Maybe your co-worker has kids, so they plan their student loan payments differently. Maybe you don't have kids. Maybe the first 3 years after you graduate, you're not going to have kids. So you can be aggressive with your payments and pay them off. Maybe the first 2 years you're going to have kids. If you have kids, daycare alone, we spend almost 1,600
Hmm.
every month.
Daycare. Yep.
Um, I work after graduation. I think I graduated in 2014. I only had a kid in 2019, 2018, 2019. So, I mean, I had so much time when I was single. I was able to make aggressive payments towards student loans. But now that, I have a kid, I'm not able to make those huge chunks of payment. But because I made those huge chunks of payment earlier on, it has reduced how much I owe.
Oh no.
So you have
Mhm.
to make an internal assessment. Make that intentional effort to assess yourself. What kind of lifestyle am I going to live after graduation? Am I going to get married immediately? Am I going to have kids immediately? And then dedicate an X amount of money towards those debts. Okay, so it has to be intentional. You have to ask yourself those personal questions. But it's doable. It's all about planning. And we are so lucky for our generation. Like I said, you can set up auto pay for so many things, so you don't even get to see the money. So the
Mhm.
money, or let's say the money, my investments and my retirement, I don't even see them because automatically come out of my paycheck. And so whatever is left I also pay myself. So personally, let me share some of my budgets with you guys. Personally, I
Mhm.
have a fund account, and then I have a gift account. So let's say I want to exchange gifts with my spouse every month. I have an account that I put a certain amount of dollar in there so that it
Okay.
will be for, you know, or if there is an occasion, maybe somebody's having a baby shower. I have
Flower.
that specific. If that gift account is empty, then I'm sorry, I'm not gonna go for that occasion. I don't have money
Whoa.
for. Yeah, so to have that discipline, if traveling is part of your lifestyle, make sure you have a traveling account. If that traveling account is empty, that means too bad, we don't get to travel.
Mm-hmm.
Have an account, money that will specifically go towards the investments every month. Set it up with your paycheck. So as soon as your paycheck kicks in, that money automatically goes out, so you don't even see it. There are people who also practice using cash. So every month they will only withdraw maybe $200 cash from their bank account. Once that cash, is spent, they're not going to touch any other money,
Yeah.
right? Compared to having your bank card with you, where you keep
Mm-hmm.
swiping and swiping and swiping.
Swiping and
So,
swiping.
but the disadvantage of using the cash is that you don't really get to see. You're not able to track where your money is going. With your bank card, you can see, oh, I spent $2 at McDonald's. Oh, I spent $50 at Macy's. And that kind
Yeah.
of helps you know where your money is going, and you can cut
Mm-hmm.
things. But in the end, do what will work for you. These are all just suggestions, right? And also recommendations for you to also go back and read books, watch videos, ask questions. People who are doing it and they're successful, ask them, how are you doing it? Can I see how you write your plan for your budget every month? I want to practice that. Practice, 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 practice. Practice will make you perfect. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much, Dr. Abigail, once again for the advice. You made mention of something that, last week Mr. Harrison said. So it's like kind of a mindset that people with, people who are up there with finances always have. He also said that he has like a budget for like gifts. So maybe for, or not gifts per se, but like
Yeah.
events, so baby shower, bridal shower. So if it's all gone, then I'm sorry, he's not going because that money, it's done. If he has some left, then he doesn't. He transfers
Mhm.
it to the next month's budget, so you have more to spend. So thank you once again. It's gonna take some comments. Mr. Harrison has typed a lot. So with the student loan, right, and then the money. When I saw this and this came into mind, students should not enroll in very expensive institutions. Mr. Harrison said that, and I like that he said that because, well, when we got here in America, well, first of all, it was because we were new in the system, so we started off in a community college, and some
Mhm.
people were like, people here, especially the kids here who were born and raised here, went to high school. They don't like that. They want the
Yeah.
big universities and stuff, but that is where we. And then even with that, my first semester we were considered like out of state, so we had like a lot more tuition. So
Yeah.
I had to take a loan. But with the next semester, I was in state now, and then the tuition was very, very small. And I got lots of financial aid plus scholarship, and I got a lot of refund from that, and which I was able to pay off one of the loans because that one was the one with the interest. I paid
Yeah.
everything off. It still had, and then the next year I was able to still save a lot of money. I'm not saying this to, but one
Yeah.
semester, my last semester there, I saved almost like, I got, not saving, I got a
Mhm.
for almost like 6,000, and I was now transferring into my, yeah, $6,000. And I was so like, I thank God so much because that was the time I was transferring to my next higher education in Binghamton University. So it's so perfect. So I was going to room and board now to buy stuff to cover some of those expenses. So that was a really good choice. I thank my uncle who directed us to go that part, because going starting from the community college helped me to save a lot of money, rather than starting directly from like a big school with lots of which the tuition is high and stuff like that. So I like that Mr. Harrison mentioned that, because it's such a making smart decisions, like you said,
Yeah.
to be able to help you save money. And he also said applying for scholarships. Some of the students don't like a scholarship because it's a long process, I know. And then you can literally get some scholarship that will take away a chunk of your tuition, and even room and board. Yep. And with those public schools, those starting from those small schools, there's a lot more opportunities in there. They can cover for your metro card. They cover for even for your food. I mean, if you don't know, then that's yeah. And
Yeah.
I used to work financial aid office, so like I knew some of their
Uh,
tips and tricks. So with that, I'm always like I miss my school, because I was able to save a lot from that had any financial like literacy cry, but it was just because I was working with them, and also I because of my uncle who helped me start from that place. Well, now that I'm here, I'm looking at I'm like, wow, if I started from here, the amount of loans that I would have now, which I mean I will be able to pay off, but still, if I know that I could save some money, why not? Because people will
yeah.
laugh at me because I started up at a community college. Don't care once you graduate. They don't care,
Yeah.
So yeah,
And I'm
thank you
so
so much.
happy that
Uh-huh.
really happy that you shared that information. And I think for most, most Africans, most of us, the immigrants,
Hmm.
like first generation, and so most people don't really have anybody to guide them or
Yeah.
educate them,
Hmm.
on the pros and cons or things that you can take advantage of. So I think you need to share more information with parents and
Yeah.
people age, to educate them so they are
Hmm.
aware of some of them and how we can close some of those gaps. Because
Yeah, that's
this
good. Hmm.
right on the platform. I first started out with a small university in Oklahoma. It was so 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 cheap, very
Hmm.
very cost, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Cost effective resources. They will share things with you, like you said.
Hmm.
Certain communities will give you resources that you would never get from, like, the bigger 4-year
Yeah.
college.
Colleges.
And
Hmm.
but these are information that nobody will just throw them at you. You have to
That's
dig them out.
true. Uh-huh.
And that's how America is. There is so many resources and opportunities in America, but nobody will come and tell you about them. You have to
Yeah.
make those. And even being black, I mean, there's so many scholarships, business loans, things that you could
Hmm.
acquire just because you're
Quiet.
black, just because you're female. Because
Yeah.
there is so
Hmm.
many for people are also female. So, but you have to seek that information, seek that knowledge.
Information.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
I think you should continue to share that information with people in your circle, and
Yeah, I
educate more.
do that. Hmm.
It's
I
good
try to.
information and
Yeah.
make a huge.
Hmm. Even with applying for financial. No, we have financial assistant here in America. One good thing that differentiate us with Ghana, no, the government will support you when you're going to school. But here there's financial aid. But even here with that, you need certain things to be able to acquire you that lots of money. And I didn't know that until I started working with them. And I was like, oh, so if I do this, if I change this answer, if I do that, they will give me more, and which which was in one situation, I was able to help a friend out. And I was like, that is so great. Imagine if I didn't know this. She would have been in debt. Rather, meanwhile, there was a way that she would clear that debt and get more money. So we need to learn. We really need to read. Like you said, the money is there. The information is there. But if you don't go search for it, they won't come to you and be like, here you go. They won't. They won't. Wow. All right. So yeah, take advantage of scholarships. Exactly. If the money allocated for certain expenses run out, that's it. Sorry. If your event comes in our own charity accounts, okay. They won't listen. No. They all want the prestige. Our community choose prestige over smartness. Exactly. I know, and I'm so proud of that decision because, well, my Binghamton University, it's compared with other public schools, it's cheap, but still, it's a higher education and it costs more than my community college. But I'm glad I only came. I'm only here for 2 years. I already did 2 years with that, with a community college, and then I won't I won't acquire a lot of loans here because I didn't start fresh. I start from here. So that is very great, and I hope that other people learn from that. I mean, if you get the chance, if you get the opportunity to go into a big school offering you tons of scholarship, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? But if you get to sit, if you don't have, you weigh your options, it will be so great. It will be so great. And even starting from some of those community colleges can put you, up there for opportunities, scholarships. Well, the school that I went to, well, they were connected with Binghamton University. So I'm not saying, yeah, I was smart. My GPA helped me gain admission, but also because the school, my previous school and this one they shared something in common. It helped me gain admissions to here faster. One, I was telling the youth on my youth group one time that I only applied to one school, which I wouldn't encourage anyone to do that at all. I only applied to one university. Well, that was
Mhm.
because I was still new to the system.
Oh, I think the line is
I did
breaking.
that. Oh, it is.
Okay, I can hear you
Oh,
now. Mhm.
okay. So yeah, I was saying that I only applied to like one university, which is anyone to do that. If you have the opportunity, please apply to multiple. But I knew that no way that I wouldn't get into this school. Even with that, sometimes I used to text my friends like, "Are you sure they're gonna?" Well, yeah. Long story short, I got accepted. But I'm saying all this because of our options, like smart decisions that we get to make. We shouldn't overlook some of these things. We need
Mhm.
to start making smart choices. Like in my school, they're like, yeah, you need to critically think, think critically.
Oh,
Use your beautiful brains, and read like reading. It's not our fault. born, born and raised in that. I'm packing.
yeah, in fact, so they're already here, right? So we have to.
Yeah,
We just
we have to. We have
we
to.
have to. Because one thing about America is, like I said earlier, they have so much information and resources, but nobody is gonna, you know, present them to you. You have
Mhm.
to read. You have to dig. You have to engage. You have to network. Join certain organizations to have certain information. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
you have.
I like that we talked. We brought this whole financial topic because, well, I like in some areas too. I like to spend my on food, not even
Oh,
on food. I love especially coffee, but thankfully, Mr. Harrison's advice is like gradually helping me. So this week I only got coffee 3 times. which is great because I would get coffee every day.
Yeah, helping build our
I know, right? Like, just one cup of coffee, which will finish in like an hour for like $5. But now I'm trying
yeah,
to.
it's
I'm kind of
make
short.
coffee at home, you know. Um,
That too,
and
but
yeah,
yeah. So I'm getting there. I'm getting there. You know, I'm taking all the advice. Me, I said, if any, it's just for me. It's this program. I mean, this topic is just for me because areas, but in some areas also I need to like put in the work. Like uh last week, immediately I got off the show, I had this money in my account that, it was just sitting there thinking I'm saving the money. I took out the money and then I put it into investment. So I'm proud of.
yeah, hard though. It's so hard. I mean,
Yeah.
guys, even for taking me, like, I'm still on that journey, right, of
Hmm.
discipline because I like to spend. And I think immediately after you graduate, based on my profession, so based on my what I studied in school, immediately after you graduate, they start paying you in six figures in
Mm,
dollars, and you're like, oh my gosh,
my
now I have all
God.
this. So um, it took me a long time to get here. I think 2 years ago, I got done paying off my car loan, and I was so proud of myself because I was like, yes, I'm done.
Wow. Yeah.
Um, in a journey. Everything I'm sharing with you guys is something I literally had to practice because the first 2 years after graduation, I wasn't thinking about financial literacy. I didn't know
Mm,
what budget was. I mean, you hear
mhm.
about these things. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I was making good money from my profession as a clinical pharmacist, but I didn't know where my money was going because I will
Going.
withdraw every now and then. I'll spend some cash at the mall, and I'll totally forget that I spent $200 there because I don't see it in my bank statement. So it took me 2 years, okay, to
Wow.
start focusing where my money is going after
Going.
graduation, and having the discipline to pay majority of my student loans. Like, it took me a very long time, and I'm still on that journey, guys. It's not easy. Like, it's easy, but having the goals really helps. It really, really helps because I keep asking myself, where do I see myself in 5 years' time? Where do I see
Mhm.
myself in 3 years' time? And 2 years ago, that was a decision I made. Like, I want to pay off my car loan. I just want to be done with my car loan. And I made those intentional steps. When you just say it, it's not going to happen. Write it
Mhm.
down, talk to your wherever you got your car from, find out how much you can pay every month so you can pay it off in 2 years, 3 years, whatever. For me at that point, I just wanted to pay it off within 2 years, and I
Mhm.
was ready to pay the price for it. I was ready to sacrifice shoes, some clothes, some hair. Okay,
Mhm.
I was ready, all of that. So it's not easy. You're not just gonna wake up and become a financial expert, when it comes to having, it takes time. But have goals, like, you want to build generational wealth, you want to build generational gains for the sake of yourself and those that will come after you. You want to be able to give back. I have expensive charity habits, right? I'm helping with STEM programs, and all those things cost money. If I don't budget my finances well, I can't do it. Right? So there's so many gifts that we have embedded in us as individuals, as Christians, but these things they cost money. It will cost you your time.
Yeah.
Money can buy you time, right? If
Mhm.
you're making good money, you can take off your weekends to be able to do charity work. If you're not making good money and you need to make more money, you need to sacrifice your
Funny.
weekend,
Yeah.
right? You need to sacrifice your weekends. But if you are also investing and making intelligent choices with your money, then you may begin to have your weekends off because the time that your weekends are off, your money is working for you, right?
Mhm.
But these
Mhm.
things that we have to take intentional steps. Like I said, the first 2 years after graduation, you may get overwhelmed with the type of money that you're making. You're like, oh my God,
Oh my
live with my
God.
parents, or I'm independent, I work, I'm a nurse, I'm a doctor,
Mm-hmm.
you see your
Yeah.
paycheck, you're like,
Oh
God.
my
So,
gosh.
yeah, but we have made the mistakes for you so you don't have to make those same mistakes. And get mentors, read books to guide you, because I still read books to guide me. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Abigail, for sharing. For sharing your personal story. It helps sometimes. Well, I'll get there. Hey, I've made up my
Yes.
mind.
Yeah.
Well, I know,
Oh,
uh-huh.
that's it.
Yeah,
Take action.
action. Hmm. It's a gradual process. I won't get up one day and oh yeah, I'm an expert. I just need to be consistent. Consistency, it's key. Auntie Renee said, "How about those who give it all, who give money out to their family and friends? Those people did
Oh my God. That is a very it's a topic for another day,
another
because
day."
it's a very topic, because most people, I'll use people here in America, immigrants are like first generation, so they have so many people depending on them financially. Maybe travel, they are the first generation to maybe get a high paying career job, and so they have all eyes, all hands on them, right? But if you have that discipline and the ability to say no, knowing when to say no, when to say yes, you may never be able to build generational wealth, right? Because the take sometimes people who take, they don't have limits, so you have to set those boundaries. And I think as immigrants, we usually have this inner guilt where we feel, we are in America, so we should be able to help those back at home. But maybe you also have your responsibilities here, you have family. You also have to plan financially for yourself. During an emergency, somebody in Ghana cannot come and save you in America. Okay, you are on your own.
Yeah.
So to be realistic and know when to say no to people, especially people back home. Know when to say yes. Make sure that you have enough funds to cover yourself before you start giving out to people back home. If not, you will run yourself down. There was a man that died, a young man that died in Columbus, Ohio. I went to school in Columbus, Ohio. And this man died in his apartment, a Ghanaian. And people did not even know he had died
Hmm.
until like body started smelling in the apartment. This was years ago. This was because this person was working 24/7, because there were people pulling him left and right, send money
Mhm.
home, send money, no break. And if you don't have breaks, if you don't take care of yourself, eventually your body could also give up on
No, shut down. Mhm.
life. In this life, we only have one vehicle that is taking us from A to B, which is your body, your health. You cannot cheat your body, you cannot overwork your body. So, with all the pressures that is coming from back home, people here, everybody needs money, pulling you left and right. Let's have the courage to say no when we don't have. Let's have the courage to say, not this weekend. This weekend, I'll take time off and relax.
Mhm.
I'll take time off and spend some time with myself and relax, right? Because if you don't take all those intentional steps, you will break down. And all these things come, we see some people taking breaks, going on vacations, but some of them, it's not because they have too much money. It's because they make intelligent decisions with the small money they make. That is what you need to tap into and find out how people are planning. How are they planning in such a way that they're able to even have enough to go on vacations? How are they planning that they're even able to ask for time off just to relax, you know.
Right.
So yeah, there are first generation people, so many people depend on them, but please take care of yourself. Take good care of yourself. Take time out, take care of yourself. Make money. It's not about how much you are making, it's about how smart you are able to make decisions with the little you have. The money sitting in the bank is not necessarily smart. Make sure you have patience about how to grow that money, how to multiply that money.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Abigail. Take care of yourself first. The people depending on you will have another benefactor when you are no more. That's true.
Yes, yes. When you die,
Mhm.
they'll
They'll find a
and
new
it's
person.
sad how quickly people move on when you die.
Move
Like they
on.
forget about
Yeah.
quickly. Everybody
Quickly.
moves on. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
moves on. They go back to their
The
parties, their weddings
normal. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
quickly after you die. So yeah.
When you're
Take care of your
existing. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
say you don't have it, it's okay.
It's okay. It's okay to say no, you know? It's really okay. It's okay because it's good that you take care of them, but sometimes if you don't have it too, it's okay. Cuz all these people like you said if you help right now, they
Yeah.
can't come over here to help you. I know some people
Yeah.
who have all their friends all the way. Yeah, okay, make some friends here. I'm not saying
Yeah.
leave forget those friends. You might go home sometime. Make some friends here too, because if something happens right now, they can come from Ghana. They're not
Yeah.
gonna say the immigration is not gonna
Yep.
say, "Oh, that's my friend. They have to come." No.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. We need to take all some of these things into consideration. It's a lot to
Yep.
talk about, you know. When you start talking about one thing and one thing leads to another, and another. But we can't stay here all day, guys. I'm sure that Dr. Abigail, like she she had when she was coming here today. So she's not gonna stay here all day. I'm not gonna stay here all day either. This man Monday. I have an exam on Monday and I gotta go, okay? Because I don't wanna
Oh,
fail.
all the good luck.
Thank you so thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so doctor, any last words before we close today's
Mm,
episode?
hmm. Let me see. So my final words. Let me see that I forgot to add. So my final words would be, let's all take action. Okay. Again, this conversation is meaningless if we don't take
Mm,
action. So
right.
let's take action in the action. Making mistakes is part of taking action. You learn from your mistakes. I have made so many financial mistakes, but guess what? My kids, they will never have to start from zero.
Mm,
They will start from the mistakes I have made. So they wouldn't have to repeat those mistakes, right? And that is what will put you ahead of others in life. Not having to start from zero all the time. Every time we are starting from zero, we get behind, we get left behind. We are not able to build generational wealth. We are not able to build generational gains. And we want to break that cycle. We want to be able to build generational wealth so that others can come pick up the baton from where we left on and keep it moving, right? Um, they'll be able to build hospitals, they'll be able to expand God's kingdom. All those things cost money.
mm-hmm.
Even if it's not just about money, when you don't have to worry about money and you're taking time off to go do God's work, you don't have headaches, you don't stress. Does
Yeah.
that make sense? So
Yep.
you need that. Yeah, so those would be my final words, that let's take action. It's been an insightful conversation. Let's take action. Let's learn from people who have the expertise and the skill sets. When you go to your bank, engage the financial advisors there. They are there for you. Some banks
Mhm.
actually pay those financial advisors every month, and they
Yeah.
don't care anybody because we just go and withdraw our money and that's it.
And that's
But
it.
they yeah, they can give you tips on retirement. They can give you tips on stocks. They can give you tips on what to invest in. They can give you good information, and that will put you ahead. It will put your kids ahead. Make sure you're putting money into life insurance. Get with Miss Osla. She'll give you more information on how to do that. All those things will help build generational wealth. Yeah, so that's what I'll leave you guys with. Financial literacy, budgeting. It has to be intentional. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Abigail. Even with all the distractions from her son, she's prioritizing you guys. How lovely. How sweet. If you don't take action, and I don't know. I don't know what else I'll have to do to help you guys because I've brought here a whole doctor. Jeez. Yeah. Thank you so much once again, Dr. Abigail. We are
Thank
so
you.
fortunate. We asked a lot. I'm gonna do this personal. I know my viewers can also testify to that. I've learned so much from you. If not for anything, I'm sure that the legal, insurance, most people haven't heard it before. Haven't heard it. So thank you so much for pouring out your knowledge to us. And I pray that God can give you more wisdom and expand your business, more long life so you can impact the upcoming generation. God bless you so much. To my viewers, thank you for watching. If you haven't the right video, why not do so? It's free. You don't have to budget. It's free of charge. Please share the video so that others can learn from what we have learned today. Mr. Harrison, thank you also. Your comment and your interaction, giving us also tips and tricks comment section. Thank you so much, and I will see you guys same time next week on our last of finances, managing our personal finances. And so have a great week. Thank you all for those who are wishing me good luck in my exams. Yeah, I'm going to study. If I don't study,
Same, same.
I won't. Thank you.
Bye,
Bye.
guys. Bye, guys.
Bye.